Now on KION, Selena's family mourning the loss of a loved one. The family now searching for answers. Plus,
these people, they just crashed.
A Veterans Day air show in Texas ends in tragedy. The investigation now taking place.
And we're tracking a weak weather system moving through overnight. Let you know what to expect from it in the full forecast coming up.
And suspending daytime patrols, the difficult decision made by Northern California agency. KION News Channel 46 starts right now.
Covering the Central Coast, this is KION News Channel 46 at 10 o'clock on the CW.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 10. Democrats will be keeping control of the Senate after a tight race between Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and challenger Adam Laxalt. Reporter Christian Benavides breaks down what's next and has the latest on other races.
CBS News projects Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto the winner in Nevada over Republican challenger Adam Laxalt. That gives Democrats control of the Senate, with Vice President Kamala Harris as the tie-breaking vote.
The American people rejected, soundly rejected, the anti-democratic, authoritarian, nasty, and divisive direction the MAGA Republicans wanted to take our country in.
Earlier, CBS News projected Arizona Senator Mark Kelly the winner in his race against Republican challenger Blake Masters.
It can be tempting to remain focused on the things that divide us. But we've seen the consequences that come when leaders refuse to accept the truth.
Georgia is set to hold a runoff between Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker early next month. And sources close to former President Donald Trump tell CBS News he intends to launch a 2024 bid for the White House on Tuesday.
The senior Republican leadership is apoplectic that Trump is announcing next week, precisely because it puts him back on center stage with only 3 weeks to go until the December 6th Georgia runoff.
A source says Trump's speech will focus on the economy, energy independence, and crime. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And Republicans are inching closer to control of the House of Representatives, but they have not clinched that just yet. Let's get a first check of that forecast with our chief meteorologist, Dan Sionka. Dan, how's it looking out there for this Saturday night? I just stepped outside. It felt a little chilly out there.
It's looking good if you want to go drive through a drive-through or something. I don't know.
Drive-through.
What do people do on some Saturday nights? Probably just enjoy life with your family and your friends.
I drive through the drive-through and probably get a late night Frosty.
You get a Frosty or some sort of like caffeinated beverage here on the night shift. That's kind of how we roll. But let's take a look at what's going on. Live look from Domenico's tonight, showing pretty tranquil conditions. You might see a little bit of a flicker of the light on the water, but nothing crazy at the moment, especially in the harbor there in Monterey. It is chilly, as Anna said. We are getting into the 40s in many locations, including that 42 degrees in Watsonville, which isn't warm. We have one spot in the San Benito County, rather, in the 30s. But Boulder Creek getting close right now, 30 degrees there, or 40 degrees, I should say. I'm going to get my numbers right eventually, I promise you. As we head through the overnight hours, temperatures look to be pretty level, not really taking too much more of a dive. And one of the reasons for that is I do expect an uptick in clouds. At the moment, we just have a few patchy clouds out there, nothing too substantial. But there is a weak weather system we're beginning to track moving into the region. I've turned up the sensitivity on the radar, so it looks like there's a lot of noise on here, so most of this is not anything to worry about. As we zoom out here a little bit, I want you to pay attention to more like moving echoes, like these few weak echoes out here, and then you'll see a couple of echoes here in the Sierra Nevada. Really, this is all that exists rainfall-wise left, or snowfall-wise left, from a weak cold front that is making its approach. We're going to talk about some of the impacts we could see from it overnight on the full forecast, plus take a look at the rest of your weekend and the week beyond. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much for that, Dan. New tonight, 6 people are feared dead after 2 historic military planes collided and crashed into the ground during an air show in Dallas today.
People, this is real. They just had an airplane crash out here. It's a Dallas.
The city's mayor said while the number of casualties are not yet confirmed, no spectators or others on the ground were injured. Authorities say the World War II era aircraft, a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress and a Bell P-63 King Cobra, crashed into each other. The tragedy struck during a Veterans Day air show at the Dallas Executive Airport. The air show is put together by a group called Commemorative Air Force.
Families are being taken care of. They're receiving counseling, not just of those actively participating in the issue, but also the CAF folks and any folks here that may have seen it and have issues with what they saw.
The NTSB is now taking control of the scene. The FAA is also involved in the investigation. And California families getting some much-needed closure tonight. The families of 9 people killed last year by their coworker at a rail yard in San Jose will split an $8 million settlement to those damage claims that were filed last November. Despite the settlement, family members say there are still no answers from the VTA or the main union as to why Sam Cassidy was kept on the job. And according to the terms of the settlement, the victims' families agreed to withdraw a wrongful death lawsuit against VTA. Cassidy was the subject of 4 investigations into his workplace conduct. Both the VTA and the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office conducted their own investigations but have not released their findings just yet. One of the victims, 39-year-old Jose Hernandez III, dreams of leaving the VTA and starting his own auto repair shop. His father told the Mercury News, quote, "Some of the families, they don't know if they want more money or they want more apologies from them. It's about accepting responsibility, and VTA will never admit that they did something wrong." And tonight, an update on that ransomware attack on Hartnell College. The college says third-party investigators found that personal information was present in the impacted network areas and are working to mitigate any risks. Hartnell College says potentially impacted people will be getting a written notification letter. Last month, Hartnell College was hit by a ransomware attack that shut down its entire network. And Selena's family in mourning tonight, and they're searching for answers. Kaylee Alyssa Gamil went missing back in August. 2 weeks later, the 20-year-old's body was found discarded in Big Sur. The Monterey County Sheriff's Office says it's investigating her death as suspicious because it has reason to believe she did not take her own life. Kaylee lived with her mother and brothers. Now, we spoke with a longtime family friend of Kaylee's, and she called her tia, and here's what she told us.
She was always smiling. She was fun. She was a giver. She loved to protect people and be there for people, her friends and everything. No matter who you were, what path or walk of life you came from, Kaylee would always be there if she knew you. She's always laughing, carefree. She was a beautiful person. Beautiful.
Vasquez also telling KION the most important thing to the family now is finding justice for Kaylee. They want to know what happened to her, but the sheriff's detectives still working on answers in that young woman's mysterious death. A GoFundMe has been set up. We have a link to that on our website. Just look for this story. And right now, Pacific Grove police are trying to figure out how a man ended up in the middle of the road with a head injury. Around 3 a.m. this morning, officers were called to Lane Street between Line Street and Erdley Avenue. That's where officers found a man lying in the middle of the street. Police say they tried to revive him, but the man died on scene. Anyone with information is asked to contact the police department. And several streets were closed earlier while police were investigating that incident, but they have since reopened. And a drastic decision by a Northern California law enforcement agency. The Tehama County Sheriff's Department suspended its daytime patrols because of short staffing. Reporter Steve Large shows us how this will impact those who live in that area.
Tehama County Sheriff daytime patrols on hold.
We are doing everything we can to ensure that this has the least amount of impact on public safety.
Sheriff Dave Henkrat sounding the alarm on a staff shortage crisis. He says he's had to move deputies from the streets to fill vacancies at the jail and courthouse, leaving him unable to fill 24-hour patrol services. The sheriff is now calling on the CHP to help.
We have been in discussions with the Highway Patrol for responding to our life-threatening emergencies.
The sheriff blames his unfilled positions on low wages compared to other agencies. This recruiting flyer is posted on the Tehama Sheriff's webpage, showing openings in a wide range of assignments from patrol to court bailiff. An independent national law enforcement research group issued a report this week showing of their members, more than 50% have fewer sworn staff than 5 years ago, more than 50% increases in retirements, and more than 50% increases in resignations. The announcement to pause daytime patrols in Tehama County comes exactly 5 years after a mass shooting there that left 5 people dead. The shooter targeting Rancho Tehama Elementary School with students and teachers inside the classrooms.
And the Tehama County Sheriff's Office says the suspended patrols will start on the 20th. And COVID is raising its ugly head again ahead of a possible winter wave. And it comes as hospitals across the U.S. are seeing a surge in patients that are also suffering from the flu. 22 states, including California, are reporting high levels of flu activity. It's the highest hospitalization rate this early in the season in a decade. One hospital in Texas is seeing its ER fill up with both flu and RSV cases in kids. And with the beds filling up, doctors are warning people to get vaccinated.
You're protecting your entire bubble of your family members, those that are really old to those that are really young. And so it's really important that we do as much as we can to help protect them.
Doctors say while getting the flu shot won't prevent getting the flu, it could lessen the severity, and that could prevent a trip to the ER, which would help alleviate the strain on hospitals. And finding a free COVID test, whether it's at home or at a clinic, might be a thing of the past. The Biden administration requested more COVID-19 funding to replenish its supplies of tests and treatments. The nation's public health emergency declaration is set to end on January 12th, but the White House plans to extend it. Once that happens, many COVID-19 costs will be passed on to consumers. The cost of PCR tests prescribed by a doctor will likely still be covered by private insurance plans, but they could be limited. COVID-19 vaccines, however, should remain free. And let it snow. Skiers and snowboarders hitting the slopes at one mountain resort here in California. Straight ahead, we show you the opening day festivities that took place and all of the excited faces. Plus, high prices could be impacting your Thanksgiving plans, how some people are trying to adjust without pinching their pockets.